Ghana will no longer let its gold leave unfinished. Gold pays for about 60% of everything the country sells abroad. In 2025, 63.1%, about $20.2 billion of $32 billion in total exports. That entire stream must now be refined at home before it can be shipped. Can Ghana's approved refineries handle more than 100 tons of doré in 5 days without pushing miners back to the black market? That number is why this ban matters. Gold was 63.1% of merchandise export value last year, $20.2 billion. That is more than double 2024 gold earnings of about $10.3 billion, and far above cocoa and crude oil combined at about $7.9 billion. When gold moves, Ghana's ability to pay for imports, service debt, and build reserves moves with it. Production made that dominance possible. Ghana mined a record near 5.94 million ounces in 2025, about 187 tons. The surge came from formalization of small-scale mining. Artisanal and small-scale doré exports rose from about 63.6 tons in 2024 to about 103 to 104 tons in 2025, more than half of national output at about 3.11 million ounces in some breakdowns, while large-scale output declined modestly. The rule arrives on a tight clock. The law that enables it was assented on 2 April 2025. The detailed guidelines followed on 13 July 2026, and the compliance notice landed on 24 August 2026. Licensed self-financing aggregators. Buyers who use their own funds to purchase artisanal doré under agreements with approved offtakers have until 31 August 2026 to rewrite every contract to require local refining. From September, nothing leaves unrefined. Doré is not bullion. It is a semi-refined alloy that comes straight from artisanal and small-scale mining, typically 50 to 90% gold mixed with silver and base metal impurities. Under this rule, it must be upgraded at a Gold Board approved or designated local refinery to at least 99.5% purity, 995 fine, often to 99.9%, and LBMA good delivery standards before it counts as refined. Export approval comes only after Gold Board confirms that refining happened in Ghana, refining charges have been settled by the aggregator or off-taker under their commercial arrangement, and assay and other requirements are met. Large-scale mines operate under different arrangements and are largely outside the specific SFA Doré directive, though separate local refining arrangements exist for portions of their output. The political anchor is President John Dramani Mahama. The name was rendered in the initial transmission as John Dramani Mahama, inaugurated 7 January 2025 at Black Star Square in Accra. The government frames this as value capture, formalize a trade long marked by smuggling and informality, keep smelting and refining, assay fees, margins and jobs inside Ghana, retain foreign exchange, build transparent traceability, and push domestic refineries toward LBMA certification on the way to a headline target of zero raw mineral exports by 2030. Enforcement is not advisory. Breaching the refining requirement is a breach of license. Gold Board can refuse or suspend export approvals, suspend or revoke the aggregator's license, and impose administrative sanctions, with the Act providing for fines measured in millions of cedis and imprisonment for unlicensed activity. For the thousands of aggregators and the small-scale miners they buy from, men and women who historically sold raw bars to traders shipping to refineries in Dubai, Switzerland, and South Africa, the first value-adding step, its cost and its delay, now stays in Ghana. The financing behind formalization carries its own contradiction. Country Report number 26/213 Ghana, Selected Issues, the background paper for the 2026 Article 5 consultation and 6th review under the Extended Credit Facility, published in early August 2026 after Executive Board action in late July 2026, found the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program lost over $1.7 billion in 2025. About 1.5% of GDP, almost entirely related to gold for reserves doré purchases, a loss equal to about 17% of the value of doré the central bank sold. Losses in 2024 were about $400 million. The report attributes the losses to service and assay fees paid to Gold Board, discounts on gold sold to off-takers and exporters, and most importantly, the exchange rate spread between the Forex Bureau rate used to buy gold and the CD reference rate used in accounting. The figure excludes sterilization costs of accumulated reserves and includes valuation effects, not only cash economic costs, a point Gold Board has contested while emphasizing the scaling of the bank's program. The program that produced those losses was operationally central to that rise in reserves to $12.7 billion, including the formal capture of gold that would have been smuggled before, but it weakened the central bank's balance sheet to negative equity of about 6.7% of GDP at end 2025. As of 10 July 2026, those domestic gold purchase program activities were transferred fully to Goldbod under a memorandum of understanding, so the central bank exits the quasi-fiscal risks. For workers, the stakes are now double-edged. In principle, keeping refining at home means more stable prices for licensed small-scale miners, more laboratory and refinery jobs, and more dollars staying in Ghana instead of being discounted away abroad. In practice, the new costs, refining charges borne by the aggregator or off-taker, assay delays, and limited capacity at approved local refineries could squeeze the same aggregators who brought 40 tons of previously informal gold into the system last year. If formal options become more expensive or slower than informal buyers, some gold could leak back into smuggling channels and reverse the formalization gains. The export figures show. If capacity holds, the state captures a larger share of the $20 billion stream that pays for imports and debt. The system will be tested between the 31 August contract amendment deadline and the September enforcement start. Then on whether Goldbod can certify refining and assay at volume without bottlenecks, whether the $1.7 billion annual loss pattern actually ends with the stripped July transfer from the Bank of Ghana to Goldbod, and whether Ghana can convert a ban on shipping raw doré into real LBMA grade output on the way to the 2030 target. Like and follow for more stories that matter.